What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we've got a bunch of new black Digimon that we need to be having a little bit of a look at. We did look at Darkdramon a little while ago, and I was very excited about Darkdramon. I made absolutely no attempt whatsoever to hide my excitement, and I'm not even sorry about it. But today we've got a whole bunch of new black Digimon we need to talk about, and I think we need to give a shout out to the lovely folks over at digimoncard.dev. I might be using some of their images or just their translations. I think Baboongamon at least we will be. So let's start off. We might as well go small to big. We might as well start off with Commandramon. Now, Commandramon here, free cost to play normally is standard for a level 3. 0 cost to evolve is standard for a level 3. 1000 power is, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, in a very literal sense, could not be weaker. Because if it was weaker, it would have 0 power, and you would play it and it would immediately get deleted. But we do have a rather nice skill. When it's deleted, you reveal 3 cards on the top of your deck, and you may play one Commandramon among them without paying the memory cost, and then as standard, the rest of them get put to the bottom of your deck in whichever order you like. Now, at this stage, it is very important to note this is not the first Commandramon we've had. We have previously had a Commandramon. Now, it didn't end up in our English set, which is a little bit sad, but we have had a Commandramon before, came around in set 3 in Japan, and it is a vanilla one that is only a 2 cost to play normally. The 3000 power is kind of irrelevant, but it's 2 cost to play normally, which is nice and cheap. So it's kind of up to you at this stage. I think I'm probably going to end up playing the slightly more expensive one. It is still free to Digivolve, which is nice, but I just like that I can consistently play extra Commandramon, which is really kind of cool. So yeah, go Commandramon. This is cool. It's also a D-Brigade Pokemon. So remember how we talked about Darkdramon the other day? And about how that when you play it, it's a 13 cost Digimon with haste. You can attack the turn you play it. But when you play it, you may return up to 5 D-Brigade Digimon from your trash to the top of your deck in any order, gaining 2 memory for each one that is returned in this way. Remember how we talked about that? Well, yeah. That makes this pretty gosh darn nice, because not only does this count towards that, but it's also really important in terms of, well, being able to get your D-Brigade out faster so you can use them faster. Speaking of D-Brigade Pokemon, how about Sealsdramon? We liked Sealsdramon. 5 cost to play normally for a level 4 is not great, not terrible. 2 cost to Digivolve is standard. 6000 power is actually quite good for a level 4. But again, we don't expect to really be attacking with this. But it has got Blocker. And Blocker is nice. Now, don't get me wrong, right? 6000 power Blocker, you're not going to be using this to block that many Digimon. But the one thing I've come to realise about, well, 5,000-6,000 power blockers like this, if you are against, say, a Rookie Rush deck that is pretty much exclusively playing 2, 3, 4,000 power Digimon, this is a good blocker. It's not going to be great against bigger Digimon, but against Rookie Rush and in the early game, this is going to be cool. Now, it's got that standard blocker thing we see quite a lot. When you attack, you lose 2 memory, blah, 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 sad face, etc. But it's not an attacker. You either use it to Digivolve up through into Darkdramon, or you use it as a blocker. And then, of course, if you use it as a blocker, you can deliberately block a Digimon with the same or higher power, preferably the same so you take him down with you. You go down, but of course, having a D-Brigade Digimon go down is one more of the 5 you need in the trash to get Darkdramon rolling nicely. This sounds pretty gosh darn good to me. Now, moving away from D-Brigade just for the moment, we've got Baboondramon. Cool, I suppose? It's a 5 cost to play normally, 2 cost to evolve 4000 power level 4, so it's kind of weak. We're not loving the strength here. But it's got Digiburst too. That is to say, you discard 2 of your evolution sources, and that means you must have gone from a level 2. So you discard the 2 and the 3 to activate the Digiburst. What do? De-Digivolve on one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 2 or less. So essentially what you do is you discard your 2 evolution sources, because you have to have 2, can't have any more or less to make this work, so that you can discard the top card of one of your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of 7 or less. For what it's worth, that will get your level 4s, your level 3s. Except it won't get level 3s, because remember, you cannot de-Digivolve into a level 2. So it'll get level 4s, and it'll get most level 5s, not all level 5s, but it will get most level 5s. So you get 4s and most level 5s. It's fine. The fact that you've got to have gone from a level 2 up to this, then you've got to discard your Digivolution sources, makes me a little sad. The De-Digivolve one is good, but the fact that it only works on a Digimon for cost of 7 or less makes me a little sad. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, one of your Digivolution sources could be a Commandramon. And when you discard it, when you trash it, that's 1 more D-Brigade in the trash for Darkdramon. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Darkdramon, great card. Love the card. Think it's a phenomenal card. But you need to be playing it normally, not Digivolving up. And you need to be doing it when you've got 5 D-Brigade Digimon in your trash. If you're not doing it under those 2 circumstances, it is a significantly weaker Digimon, and my effusive praise starts to dissolve a little bit. So the skill here, there's good and bad things. I kind of like it and I kind of don't. But the fact, again, if you're not playing this in a Darkdramon deck, I don't know how much I love this, but if you're really trying to get those D-Brigade Digimon in the trash early, or indeed in the mid to late game to play it again, yeah, I cannot stress this enough. If you are hard casting Darkdramon for free cost as an 11,000 power Digimon with haste, you are going to have a good time. So let's make sure we do, shall we? Now, there is another Digivolution line we're going along here, which doesn't really have much to do with Darkdramon at all, although we do have some Digiburst here, which, well, we'll get there. We've got Gogmamon. That's a weird name to say. Gogmamon here, what we've got is a level 5, 8 cost to play normally, so couldn't actually be de-Digivolved with a previous one, which is quite expensive. 3 cost to Digivolve is standard, and 7,000 power is... it's alright. It's not phenomenal, it's not terrible, it's alright. It's got a skill, Digiburst 1. Now, I like this because you're only trashing 1 card, so you can either trash a vanilla Digimon you don't need, you're not losing all of your evolution sources, or you can just, for instance, burst that D-Brigade Digimon if you like. And what you do is one of your Digimon gets an extra 2,000 power. The other thing I really like about this, and I should say it's until the end of your opponent's next turn, so it's your turn while attacking, but also next turn while either your opponent is attacking you, or you use this to give extra power to a blocker. And the thing is, we've not been told that you cannot keep Digibursting. So the way I see this is, you could just do this once, or you could Digiburst the 4, the 3, and the 2, and give an extra 6,000 power to 1 Digimon, or an extra 2,000 power to each of 3 Digimon, etc., etc. This is a cool card. It's fine in and amongst itself, but I love being able to boost up your Digimon. And then, of course, when you boosted them up enough, it's got an inheritable skill that on your turn and your opponent's turn, this Digimon gets an extra 1,000 power. So either you're just a bit beefier to attack and harder to take down, or you evolve it into a blocker, Wargreymon comes to mind, and then you're a blocker with an extra 1,000 power when you're either attacking or blocking. Now, I love this with Wargreymon, because remember, Wargreymon's got both blocker and reboot, but you've got 11,000 power, and 11,000 power is the average that we see on a level 6. So by turning yourself into a 12,000 power on your turn or your opponent's, you can attack level 6 Digimon, the majority of them, without being destroyed or deleted, and you can block the majority of them without being deleted. So Gogmamon here, yeah. Beef up some of your Digimon on the board, then Digivolve up and have a beefier Digimon rolling. You'll lose some of those inheritable skills, which is sad, but I can see a lot of uses for this. But Gogmamon looks like it should have a level 6 Digivolution. And it totally does! Interestingly enough, they are both super rares. And what we've got here is a 13 cost to play normally, which is expensive. We've got a free cost to Digivolve, which to be fair is standard for a level 6, so this is one you're going to want to evolve into rather than just play for a 13 cost. And 13,000 power. Now I told you that up till now the average for a level 6 has been 11,000 power. That's what we see from most of them. It is interesting to note that, and we haven't seen that much, but the cards we've seen from BT4 so far, we've actually seen more 12,000 power Digimon than 11,000. In terms of level 6s, that'll probably be evened up, but it is something to keep an eye on moving forward. But 13,000 is still high. And you've got security attack +1, so you're not taking out one security card, you're taking out 2. And when you attack, your opponent may choose one of their unsuspended Digimon and force this Digimon to attack it instead. Oh. That really puts a dampener on this card for me, if I'm honest with you. I'm really not loving it. This is a translation we got from DigimonCard.dev, and they're usually pretty gosh darn good at this. And I'm not loving this one so much. This Blastmon here is a bit, Now, I love the power. I love that when you're Digivolving up, it's not more expensive. I love the security attack +1. But the fact is, it basically makes your opponent take any unsuspended Digimon and turn it into a blocker. So you've got the extra security attack and you've got the high power, but I mean, what if your opponent's got an Omnimon on the field? 15,000 power. So you go to attack and your opponent goes, oh, my Omnimon's unsuspended. You have to attack my Omnimon. Hey, I've got 2,000 more power than you. Ha ha ha, you go down. And then you've lost your big Digimon, which is kind of sad. And to be fair, right, you've got 13,000 power. There are not that many Digimon that are going to be able to block you. Most of the time, your opponent will be sacrificing one of their Digimon. But there will be some, like Omnimon, that can just go, you know what, I'll take the hit, we'll be fine. And that worries me quite a bit. Yeah, we do have an option card, Scrap Claw, that can give you piercing. And that means that you will essentially go through the Digimon that's been used to block you and then perform your security attack anyway. But the fact of the matter is, Scrap Claw, it's a free cost card. You're not going to have it every turn. It's a free cost card. It's not always going to be there when you need it, and that genuinely worries me. So I think what we've got here is a really good card that's got a built-in way for your opponent to counter. Like, it just gives your opponent the chance to turn any of their unsuspended Digimon into a blocker. And a lot of the time, that's going to be essentially choosing a Digimon to sacrifice. But if the choice is choose a Digimon to sacrifice, or let your opponent take out 2 security cards, and most of those security cards are just going to not even slow down Blastmon with its 13,000 power, I think a lot of the time that's what your opponent is going to want to do. Now, maybe you've got a Gogmamon on the field, so you use Gogmamon to turn you into a 15,000 power Digimon, and then Omnimon can't block you without being destroyed. But your opponent is just going to use a smaller Digimon. So I'll be honest with you, at the end of this, I'm a little underwhelmed by Blastmon. I am sorry. But hey, maybe you've seen something in this that I haven't. Maybe you've got an insight that I don't. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk Digimon and a bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, Look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.